This is the story of the world's most dangerous waste problem. The frozen country pioneering a solution.
And do you think it's going to be safe?
And the local council facing a critical decision.
The government are desperate, and it's just the wrong solution.
It starts here, amidst the beauty of England's Lake District. More than 300 people have gathered for a walk to protest the search for a nuclear waste dump site in this area.
Never done anything like this before. Never really go into politics, but this time we have to.
I mean, just look around. What sick person could ever conceive such an idea? But that's what's so frightening.
The next step in the search for a nuclear dump site, known as Stage 4, is computer modelling of Cumbria's geology to see if it's suitable. The British government has been calling on councils to volunteer for the dump site project, and the local councils here have agreed to take part. In 4 days' time, they must decide whether to go on to Stage 4.
We need people to consider what they're going to do to this place and keep off. So thank you very much for coming. Please enjoy the rest of the day and enjoy the walk. Thank you.
Roger Parker is one of the protest walk's organisers.
When they move on to the construction, that is going to be huge. The spoil that comes out as they're tunnelling, one estimate has been that it will take a lorry, a 16-wheel lorry, along our roads every 3 minutes for something like 30 years.
Roger and his wife run a B&B from a converted farmhouse within sight of Ennerdale Fell.
The chickens knocked down your wall, so I had to repair it.
They're understandably worried that a radioactive waste dump will destroy the lake's tourism industry.
So we've got to make next door up as a double. People are already hearing that this is happening, and people will stop coming before they even break ground. This is an undeveloped, deprived area, and farmers have been encouraged to diversify and move into the tourism industry, and they're trying to cut it off at the knees.
The scaremongers, who, by the way, a lot of them are funded from people who don't live in Cumbria, but I can't understand them just saying no without finding out the facts. Well,
Peter Clements is a union organiser at Sellafield Nuclear Plant. Britain's Sellafield sits just a few miles from the edge of the Lake District National Park. It currently houses 70% of Britain's nuclear waste in interim storage. This nondescript building contains the high-level radioactive waste, some of it dating back 60 years to the development of the bomb. The old power plant is being dismantled though. Sellafield no longer generates electricity.
The benefits of getting a dump is the obvious jobs. It will also kickstart the nuclear new build, because we have to, in order to have nuclear new build, we have to have a way of dealing with the waste product.
Just a few days out from the council decision, Peter Clements' pro-nuclear union has organised a special conference.
This is the last chance debate, as we build it.
The meeting is aimed at persuading any wavering councillors who are in attendance.
So would you please welcome Jamie Reid? Thanks.
And leading the charge is the local MP, Jamie Reid.
Put simply, Cumbria, West Cumbria in particular, stands at a crossroads. If we make the right decisions, then our future will be characterised by unprecedented economic opportunity.
Jamie Reid is a keen proponent of the nuclear industry and sees no reason to exclude the national park from hosting a nuclear waste dump.
I don't see why making this industry safer, making this industry better for the environment, better for people, should in any way affect tourism at all.
Outside the conference, anti-dump protesters are making their own bid for the councillor's attention. They fear the people inside are hoping to trade the Lake District's sanctity for a few hundred jobs. But Jamie Reid feels a moral obligation.
I'm a third-generation nuclear worker, a third-generation Sellafield worker. I used to work on the site before I went into politics. My grandfather's generation didn't know there was a problem to solve with radioactive waste. My father's generation knew there was a problem, but didn't solve it. My generation knows there's a problem. We know how to solve it. We know what the consequences are of failing to solve this. And moreover, I think it's just morally wrong. It's morally indefensible. It's morally corrupt to leave this problem for our children when we know how to solve it.
So finally, my view is that geological disposal is certainly safe.
What impact the conference is having on the councillors is unknown. Wednesday's vote is a planning decision, and councillors can't express any opinion beforehand without automatically excluding themselves from the vote. But the unionists I speak to seem quietly confident of a green light. With the two sides locked in battle in the UK, I've come to Finland to find out how they've dealt with the same dilemma. Here I find the only underground high-level radioactive waste dump under construction anywhere in the world. It's known as Onkalo.
So the length of the tunnel is 5 kilometers.
The Onkalo tunnel corkscrews into the earth, descending to a depth of 455 metres. Permission to build a radioactive waste dump here was granted 13 years ago, after a debate just like the one underway in Britain.
Niin kuin moni täällä valtuustossa keskustelussa totesi, että melkein uni on yöllä mennyt, että mikä on nyt se oikea ratkaisu. Että mikä on oikea, jos mä äänestän näin tai olen tätä mieltä, niin mikä on se oikea ratkaisu.
Juha Jakala was the council leader when the company building the waste dump, Perceiver, was searching for a site.
Oli kilpailu. Siinä oli 5 paikkaa ensinnäkin, koska Loviisa on toinen voimalapaikkakunta, niin ne oli yleinen mielipide oli
The council approved Onkalo 21 votes to 7. Juha was one of the 7 votes against. This retirement home, funded by a real estate deal with Perceiver, is one of the few tangible benefits for the town. It seems trustworthiness, not money, was the key to the waste company's success.
Et varmasti he ja Stukista, eli viranomaisista ja suunnittelijasta ja konsulttiyhtiöistä, niin varmasti he parastansa yrittävät, että siitä ei ole mitenkään paikkakunnan niin sanotusti sumuttamisesta ei ole varmasti kysymys.
At the bottom of Onkalo, excavation is still underway. They are now building the test galleries where engineers are trying to perfect the disposal technique.
So you fill the tunnel with bentonite.
Yeah.
You fill the...
Geologist Anntii Jousten shows us around.
Crazy, isn't it?
The idea is to place the spent fuel rods inside steel canisters, which are then encased in copper to prevent rusting. They will then be placed into holes like these, and the entire tunnel system will be backfilled with bentonite clay, and hopefully left untouched for 100,000 years. Long enough that the engineering has to take into account the pressure from the next ice age, when this whole region will be buried under 2 to 3 kilometres of ice.
Well, we have room for 12,000 tons of uranium here. So it's going to be few thousands of canisters.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you think it's going to be safe?
Yes, yeah. And that is something that we are trying to show for the Finnish officials. So it's 20 centimeters wide there. Here it's about 1.5 meters.
It is an extraordinary thing, though, for humans to even think about trying to engineer something to last 100
Yeah, that's
years.
true. That's true. So this is really extraordinary project because of that.
Do you think it's possible, or is it too much hubris to think that we can actually build something to last that long?
Well, if we think about the timescales, so no major geological events such as volcanism or major earthquakes has occurred here in over 1 billion years. So in that sense, if you talk about 100,000 years, it's not so much.
Back in the Lake District, as the council vote nears, the peaceful vistas hide a growing tension.
How's your sleep?
It's been terrible ever since I found out about it. I wake up every morning with the dread that I'm just going to have to go through another day of thinking about this whole thing. We're doing the best we can to try and stop something that should not be happening, and it's taking its toll. It is. I'm bloody shattered, actually.
Chris Lane has lived here on the edge of Ennerdale Lake for 26 years. But he says he only heard about the nuclear waste dump proposal 4 months ago through a friend.
The message hasn't got through. It hasn't got through, not just to me and my family, but to everybody else that I've spoken to. People in the valley here, right up to and including the date of the vote, still had no idea.
The lack of consultation has left him with little faith in the process. Even though the government has promised the community it can still withdraw at a later date.
Does that not reassure you?
Not in the slightest. The government are desperate. Apart from West Cumbria, no other council has volunteered. So we're stuck with one volunteer community, with a poor geology, but with a workforce that is very dependent on the nuclear industry, and quite rightly are worried about their jobs and about the economy of the West Coast. And it's just the wrong solution.
What's your feeling about tomorrow and the vote?
I'm optimistic. I hope that the councillors will vote the right way.
If you asked me to put a figure on it, I'd probably say it's 50-50 at best.
It's the day of the vote, and inside the council chambers the mood is tense, with the council leader urging people to remember the decision is solely whether to proceed to the next stage and nothing more.
I must insist we are not here to debate whether we should approve a GDF in Cumbria.
And from that point on, cameras are excluded from the chambers. Outside the council's gates, a small crowd has gathered in the drizzle to listen to the proceedings.
Fairly confident that an acceptable process can be put in place if we move forward with the next stage of the process to assess and mitigate negative impacts and maximise positive.
Surprisingly, as the session goes on, more and more of the councillors talk of safety concerns, doubts about Cumbria's geological suitability, and fears of becoming tangled in a process they have no legal right to withdraw from.
I am not going to be a puppet dancing to the government's tune.
Finally, after nearly 4 hours of deliberation, the moment of truth arrives.
Stage 4. All those in favour of withdrawing from stage 4 at the moment, please. Please show. Could we hand up, please? And all those against. Right. The motion to withdraw is carried. Before, can you just sit down for a minute, please? Before everyone disappears.
Absolutely jubilant. It's a great vote for the environment, for democracy, for local people, and whatever they do with this nuclear waste, please may it be somewhere safe.
If we could reconvene,
I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased. I'm relieved, and I might even sleep tonight.
And if we can say one thing, that's one thing that we've done.
Oh, sure, it's a big
brought
thing.
the spotlight onto that.
In Ennerdale's community pub, it's a night for quiet celebration. After months of uncertainty and a crash course in grassroots campaigning, the people of Ennerdale are savouring the sense that they've helped save one of the nation's and the world's natural treasures.
You think there ever will be nuclear waste dump in the Lakes District?
No, not if it encroaches the national park, broadly speaking.
I think that
would be
getting
my,
buried. I really
that would
do.
be my...
Yeah, I did doubt it at the start of this, but I think that's it.
For Britain's growing stockpile of radioactive waste, there's still no lasting solution.